Hey, this is Senator Justin Reedy coming to you at the end of week 8 of the 2025 General Assembly session. And this is when the session really starts to get the longest, the last couple of weeks and probably for the next 2 to 3 weeks. A lot of long hearings, more debate now on the floor on specific issues. The really big news this week has been the governor presenting his BRFA bill before the House of Delegates and then before the Senate, before the budget committees in both houses. The BRFA is a tandem bill to the budget, but it's where a lot of the moving of money and a lot of the taxes can be put to help balance the budget. Some years the BRFA is a little more innocuous, but a lot of times that's where the worst stuff that's there. The state budget bill is more of just how it's being balanced. So in the governor's BRFA is where he has a lot of these major tax increases and tax changes that we've been talking about. And right before the governor presented his bill, the Republican House and Senate leadership, of which I'm a part of, we had a press conference to talk about really, number one, not just what's wrong with his, but also the solutions that we have for this massive $3 billion budget deficit. Again, as I've said before, our budget deficit is largely self-inflicted. We have an inhospitable environment for businesses, retirees, and families, high cost of living, high tax burden. But the state, rather than identifying and trying to change that, especially under the Moore administration, has doubled down on more spending, more hiring of state employees, growing state government. And now we're in a situation with this budget deficit because of things that the General Assembly has mandated as far as spending and because of commitments that the governor's been making in the last 2.5 years. So the solution, though, is, while not easy, pretty simple. And we were outlining and identifying areas where we can cut hundreds of millions of dollars out of the state's budget relatively painlessly. Now, there will be some cuts that are not painless. There are some things we're going to have to do to balance the budget without raising taxes that would involve changing some things with benefits and other types of things that would be a little bit tougher. But really, by simply engaging in a hiring freeze, eliminating state positions that are paid for in the budget but don't have people in them, and getting rid of some of the climate initiative upgrades to state buildings that cost us $90 million in next year's budget, getting rid of a study of the red line, a $60 million study of the red line that's in there because it would be required if we were going to get federal dollars for it, but we're not going to be getting federal dollars for it. Things like that are building blocks to how we get to cutting out the $3 billion that are needed. It's interesting that the governor's proposal talks about how this is a budget that has cuts and tax increases, but also tax cuts. But it's interesting, the budget is $1 billion higher than last year. So we're not really cutting, we're cutting against the rate of growth. And the comptroller's office, we have a Democratic elected comptroller, her office has put out a report in February that shows that for all of Wes Moore's talk that we're going to have tax cuts for middle class people, he even said it yesterday that that's his North Star and that's what he's focused on. It actually shows that pretty much everybody making over $75,000 a year is going to pay net more taxes under the governor's plan, and some people a lot more. So that doesn't work for our economy. It doesn't work for our working families. So again, myself, our Republican legislators, we are focused like lasers on not just saying no to taxes, which we are, but also showing that there's a lot we can do in the state's budget to reduce, restrict, and cut out things. We need to reduce the overall size of government. But we can save hundreds of millions of dollars on employee costs without firing a single current employee. So we're going to be putting more specifics out about that as we go. That's the big fight this week, and will continue to be, is the battle over our state's budget. Last, I'll leave you with a little bit of good news. Many of you have heard about or seen this ridiculous and strange bill about allowing for condom machines in schools, getting rid of the prohibition of condom machines, even in schools as low as elementary school, kindergarten. That bill passed the House, and it's gotten a lot of national news because it's ridiculous and strange. But the House, here in the Senate, that bill goes to the Senate Judicial Proceedings Committee. This morning, Friday morning, they killed that bill. Really, pretty much, I think it was a unanimous bipartisan vote to just kill that bill. So that bill is dead. So we do, at times, have opportunity to kill or really gut bad bills. We've done some of that this session so far in the Senate. I think we're doing good work. We've kept a lot of bills bottled up that are not good. We're going to continue to do that. Next week, I'll try to come to you with an update on some of our legislative initiatives we're working on and what the progress report on that is. But until now, I hope you have a great weekend. And please, again, feel free to reach out to me with any questions or concerns. And God bless.